evening, folks, and a very warm welcome to you. Thank you very much for joining us on DinamoTV this week. It's an absolute pleasure to be here with you every week. My name's Tonchi Prusats, and I'm your host and producer of DinamoTV. We're up to episode 16 this year. Gosh, the weeks are just blending into months, and before you know it, half the year will be over. Well, as far as our NPL senior men's team is concerned, as the halfway point of the season is fast approaching. As far as our junior boys NPL, well, the season is just about to start this weekend. And the senior women's, the season is well underway. We've got a massive show lined up for you tonight, as we do week in, week out. But we've got a huge announcement regarding next week's show as well. A huge guest coming up on next week's episode of DinamoTV. It's a real coup for St Albans Dinamo Football Club and DinamoTV, but a little bit more about that later on. As far as tonight's show, well, we've got a jam-packed gallery of greats that are going to be coming on the show tonight. We'll be hearing from St Albans Dinamo senior women's coach, Tommy PONDELJAK, the senior men's interim coach, PAUL DONNELLY, the under-23s coach, and who's also the assistant for the senior men's, Adam TENNENINI. One of the juniors from the 23s that has stepped up to the senior team, and he was in action last night in the Australia Cup action. NICK DEBONO, we'll be hearing from Nick as well. Plus, we will also announce who last week's Senior Women's Player of the Week award winner was. So quite a fair bit going on today, that's for sure. So looking forward to that. It is Female Football Week starting tomorrow, and it will be running through until the 12th of May. And we here at Dinamo certainly celebrate Female Football Week. In fact, for us, Female Football Week is every week because we've got a lot of young ladies pulling on the boots each week. And the females are not just on the field, but off the field. We've got a fantastic army of volunteers, coaches, team managers, club officials. So in this Female Football Week, we salute all the females at Dinamo Football Club who are involved in any way, shape or form to make our club great as it is. Female Football Week, that's a nationwide initiative by Football Australia and all of its state federations to celebrate the immense growth of women's football at all levels of the game and acknowledge and promote women's important role in developing our game. And as I said, we really look at how we can really develop the women's side of our club. And in next week's show in particular, we'll pay particular homage to the fact that Dinamo St Albans is one of the few clubs Australia-wide to have reached their Level 2 accreditation as far as the Game Changer program is concerned. And a large part of that is making the club female-friendly and inclusive for all. We're going to take a very, very short break. When we return, it's going to be time for the news desk, and we've got a jam-packed news desk tonight, folks. So don't go away. It's DinamoTV that you are watching and will be watching for the next hour or so.
The I&D Group is regarded as one of the largest deliverers of concrete structure solutions in Victoria. Formed in 1994 by Ivan and Kathy Filipovic, their passion and commitment to getting the job done safely and economically has underpinned their success in the industry. I&D partners with large-scale building and construction companies in both the private and public sectors on projects large and small. With our corporate headquarters based in South Melbourne and storage yard based in the southeast suburbs, we have at our disposal thousands of square metres of quality materials, along with state-of-the-art lifting and crane equipment, enabling us to deliver the largest projects. We are committed to delivering high-quality projects by partnering with our clients and collaborating with project suppliers to ensure each job is delivered to exceed expectations. From humble beginnings, I&D now employs more than 1,200 dedicated professional and support staff, involved in a number of landmark projects right across Victoria. The I&D Group is a massive supporter of the Croatian community, backed soccer clubs in Victoria and is proud to be the major sponsor of the St Albans Dinamo Football Club in 2024.
The way we'll run it, I'm just going to ask Francesco a few questions to start with, and then we'll throw to the audience. Marco will come around with the microphone. If you can't ask the question in Italian, that's fine. Ask it in English and we'll translate here at the front. So, volevo fare una cosa diversa. Sai che sei già stato intervistato 1000 volte in Italia dai giornalisti. Ti chiedono sempre le stesse cose banali, le stesse domande, quando torni a Roma, cose così. Io volevo fare una...
And that was our very own under-23s head coach, Adam TENNENINI, Tuna, as he's affectionately known around the club. And he was the MC at a very small, as he calls it, intimate get-together for Italian superstar and former AS Roma legend, Francesco Totti, who was recently in Melbourne, and our very own Tuna was asked to MC a question and answer session at one of the Italian restaurants around town. He'll be joining us a bit later on to talk about what it was like to basically fulfill a dream and speak to the great man, the great legend that is Francesco Totti. And if you don't know who Totti is, well, he played 600 plus games for Roma. It was a one-man club, which is very, very rare in this day and age. And for those of you, if you remember, in 2006 at the World Cup when Italy played Australia, Francesco Totti scored the only goal of the game. A true legend. Whether you follow Italian football or not, the Serie A, whether you follow Roma or not, you certainly would have to take your hat to a man who's played 600 plus league games at the one club. And Tuna is going to tell us all about that. Cannot wait. So we're now into the news desk. Now, Adam also is the assistant senior coach. And unfortunately, the senior men aren't doing the best at the moment. Last week, they came up against a Dandenong Thunder. It was a game that we were expected to do a lot better than we did in recent times, but we didn't. We lost 3-0, and at the end of the day, I guess this week the DinamoTV travelled to Green Gully, and it's going to be a tough game, this one, but it's certainly on the back of last night's triumph in the Australia Cup, and hopefully that will give them a lot of confidence going into this game. This is one of those games against Gully we really need to do well. Green Gully have also been drawn against us, or we've been drawn against Green Gully in the next round of the Australia Cup. Now, if we manage to beat Green Gully in round 6 of the Australia Cup in a couple of weeks' time, I tell you what, we'll be knocking on the national stage again like we did in 2014. Now, speaking of the Australia Cup, let's have a look at last night's highlights. It was a come-from-behind 3-1 win in the end. It wasn't all smooth sailing, but in the end, we did quite well. And here is your commentator, Arthur, at the helm.
Nicholas DeBono and Max King as St Albans go deep into attack already. And as East Bentleigh try and push the ball away. Ramsey, ball through now. Chance for East Bentleigh. Surely! Yes, 1-0! Oh my Lord! What a tremendous goal! They've done a bit better with that. Charge down. The referee's allowed play on. Not cleared away properly. Deep ball and the header! And that was a quality finish. The equaliser has come by Monac. Some great stuff. There's a lot of room for him in the middle there. Chance now to go forward again. Chance again. And surely it's in. And the referee has given the goal, a great goal at that. Some good work. Some shimmying here, trying to get the ball in the box. Some good work. Any chance here? The shot has gone in. Finished. All over now. And 3-1. This is the number 2 pitch here. The number 1 pitch hasn't been used yet. And the lighting's a little hazy here, especially on the far side of the ground. And the home side has won the game. 3-1. Goals by Bakar. 2 from him, 1 from Cabraja.
We're speaking with the gaffer, the senior men's interim coach, Paul Donnelly, immediately after the Australia Cup clash against East Bentleigh Strikers. Paul, first of all, congratulations. 3-1. It was a closer contest, I guess, than the game suggests. They really made it difficult for you, didn't they, defensively speaking?
Yeah, we made it hard for ourselves, I think. But, you know, we created a lot of chances, and that's a positive. Now we have to start finishing those chances. You know, I think if we've got finish those chances, it's a different game. But as long as we're creating, and that's what we're working on and training and stuff, I think hopefully it will come.
Yeah. Now, East Bentleigh took the lead. When was it? In the 30. What time was it? In the 20s, early side, I think it was 21st minute or something like that. Certainly gave the supporters something like a bit of a heart attack there. But when that happened, did you start to fear the worst, or did you just know? Look, you know that we are. Let's face it, we are a team that's about 7 divisions higher. Eventually, class will rise to the surface. What was going through your mind at that particular point in time?
No, disappointed. Like, really hurt me, or hurt the lads as well. But didn't panic. You know, I knew we'd eventually get there. We just had to be patient. It was a goal against the run of play. Before that, I'd created sort of beautiful chances, good chances before that. So I knew we'd still create. And it was just a matter of time, and that's exactly how it panned out. And even second half, it was just a matter of time as well. You know, we left it really light, but there was chances before that as well.
Yeah, I guess one of the pleasing aspects must certainly be, as we said, we've really struggled to score goals this year. But Scott Backor, a goal in the 36th and 38th, he's effectively doubled his tally for the season. That must be a real confidence booster going into Saturday's game against Green Gully.
Yeah, definitely. And that's how Scotty came back in tonight. That's turned out positive. I was hoping he would get a couple of goals and we'd try and get his confidence back, and you know, back in the team, and hopefully playing a lot better. So that's definitely positive from the game. Yeah.
Yeah, and speaking of Green Gully, I guess that's now an Australia Cup dress rehearsal, isn't it? This Saturday at Green Gully Reserve. Kick-off at 1 p.m. Why is that? It's an earlier game.
Yeah, I don't know. We're trying to work it out. One of their players must have a wedding or something. We're not sure.
Oh, possibly. Could be a big Maltese wedding or something like that happening. So, well, we don't know, yeah. But all right, jokes aside, though, going into this game, it's a big game. It's an important game. The last few weeks, the momentum has slowly been starting to build, apart from Saturday. We won't really talk too much about that. But look, you've had you've had now 3 weeks with the boys. Are they sort of starting to come around to your way of how you want them to play?
Yeah, I think so. It's taken a bit longer than I thought, but we're just going to keep working on it. You can see, you know, patterns are playing, little things happening out there. The boys are definitely trying. But we just have to keep working on it. So, yeah, big game this weekend against Green Gully. Looking forward to it. it's another opportunity, to implement what we're trying to do here and see what it looks like. So it'll be a tough game. And they had a good result last week, and we had a really poor first half. Second half was a little bit better. So get the boys in tomorrow night for a recovery. We'll work on a few things and get ready for Saturday.
Well, it should be an absolute pearler of a game. It always is, the big Western Suburbs derby. We're near neighbours. You could throw a stone and you'll get from one ground to the other. That's how close we are. But hopefully it's not going to be a close contest on Saturday, and hopefully we're going to run away with a big win, because, boy, we do need it. But good luck, mate, for Saturday, and certainly for the rest of the season as well.
Thanks, Tom Chable. Chat soon. Thanks, mate.
We're speaking with Nick DeBono from the senior men's team immediately after the big Australia Cup clash with East Bentleigh Strikers, a 3-1 win. Bit of a heart-stopping moment there, I guess, towards the end, Nick. But first of all, congratulations on the win, and thank you for joining us on DinamoTV.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, 3-1 win. Look, Scott Backhor scored a goal in the 36th and 38th minute, come from behind. 2-1 at the break, and then Luca Chabraya scored in the 90th minute right at the death. Not as, I guess, the scoreline doesn't show how close it was, but they were a tough opposition, and we knew that they were going to come and play sort of with a bunker system and really flood their defence. But were you prepared as a team for the tightness of the contest, or their tactics, I should say?
Yeah, I do think we prepared as a team, and I thought we went into the game fairly confident, but we started off a bit slow, but we slowly eased into the game and slowly took control of the game.
Yeah. Now you, along with Luca and Nicholas Murray, were given that opportunity to step up from the 23s and play there. Now that Adam TENNENINI Tuna is the assistant coach as well of the seniors, as well as the under-23s coach, does that transition help you a lot more, stepping up and playing senior football?
Yeah, it definitely does. I worked with Tuna the year before last year, as well as last year in the under-21s, as well as under-18s. So stepping into the senior football and adapting, Tuna's made it much easier for me as an individual, and I'm sure same for Luca and Nicholas, who've worked with him in the past. But he's definitely made it easier for us to adapt.
Yeah. Now, what about your own performance tonight? How did you see that?
Look, I thought I did all right. Put in a couple of challenges. Overall, I thought I was all right, pretty solid.
Yeah. And how are you enjoying so far the season? I mean, it has been a bit of a topsy-turvy season, both in the 23s and the seniors as well. But look, we're almost approaching the halfway mark. How have you, in your eyes, how have you seen it?
Look, the season's probably not going as we wanted about the first half of the season, but overall I think we're doing all right, and hopefully we can pick up in the second half of the season and get more results.
Yeah. Now, looking at next round, so in about 2 weeks' time, Green Gully in round 6. If we can get past Green Gully, we'll be back on the national stage. How good is that? Have you heard about all the 10 years ago when we played Perth Glory in front of 4,000 fans at Knight Stadium? Has some of the players and officials that were involved back then, have they been sort of saying to you leading up to this game how great it would be to be back on the national stage?
It definitely would be a very good experience for the whole team to make it back to the national stage. Obviously, have to beat Green Gully first. That's our first priority, and then we'll move from that. Yeah,
no, absolutely, that is the case. Turning our attention to this weekend, some important. It's an important game for Dinamo. How are you looking at the week coming?
Look, obviously Saturday's going to be a very big game for us, and hopefully we can get the win. That'll be good for us as a team, and really bring back the positive energy that we need.
I guess that's against Green Gully this weekend at Green Gully Reserve. It's almost like a dress rehearsal for the Australia Cup clash in a couple of weeks' time. Earlier kickoff, 1 p.m. That's a bit unusual. Why is that the case? Any idea?
I'm not too sure, but yeah, no, it's definitely not what we're used to playing at 1 p.m. But we've got to prepare right for it and hopefully get the result.
Yeah, and the under 23s, they'll be playing immediately afterwards at 3:30 p.m. So that's a bit strange. I mean, everything being kind of flipped around. Is that right?
Yeah, it's definitely very odd, but yeah, like I said, we've got to adapt to it, and yeah, can't use that as an excuse.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Mate, we wish you all the very, very best for Saturday coming and also the next few weeks, because it's going to be very, very important. But before we let you go, tell us a little bit about how the team is reacting to the new gaffer, Paul Donnelly, interim coach at the moment. But how is the team reacting to him as opposed to Ryan McGuffey earlier in the season?
Yeah, no, look, obviously Paul's a very good coach, and yeah, we're loving it, and yeah, overall he's a very good coach, can't complain at all.
Yeah, fantastic. Good on you, mate. Wishing you all the very best, and thank you for joining us on DinamoTV.
Thank you very much for having me. Thank you.
Good on you. And there we have it, the results. Oh, well, not the results, the results of last week's game, but also this week's game coming up. 1 p.m. kickoff for the seniors, 3:30 for the under 23. So it's flipped around. Green Gully at home to St Albans Dinamo, and then the Australia Cup clash. Well, match details to be confirmed, but it's likely to be a midweek game sometime in the middle, in about 2 to 3 weeks' time, and that will be hosted at Churchill Reserve. So that should be a great game. Hopefully, attract a big midweek crowd as well. And so there's lots of football coming up indeed over the next month or so. Senior women, their season is well and truly underway at the moment. And on the weekend, it was a 1-1 draw against Geelong Rangers. Probably a bit of an unfortunate result. Certainly a result that we were hoping was going to be a 3-pointer for us. But Geelong Rangers at home, always a tough team. Delia scoring the only goal of the game for the Geelong Rangers. St Albans Dinamo women will take on Altona East Phoenix this weekend, or tomorrow night precisely, at 8 p.m. And at the moment, Dinamo are in third spot, Altona East in fifth position. Both teams have won one, drawn one, and are yet to lose a game. After the match, Nick Delia, our roving reporter, caught up with senior women's coach Tom PONDELJAK, and this is what he had to say.
Tommy, tough result today?
Yeah, look, it was a pretty tough game. We sort of knew that Geelong were going to be quite a physical opposition, and it worked out that way. Yeah, look, the girls. I mean, like I said, I've spoken previously. They've been on fire. They've been doing really well. Hit a bit of a speed hump today. They probably weren't out their best, and they know it themselves. So, look, all in all, it wasn't the greatest performance by any means. It was probably one of our worst, to be honest. But the girls know that, which is the most important thing. They know it. They'll rectify it. We'll come back in next week. We'll get to work again, and we'll kick on hopefully on Friday night and try and get 3 points on the board.
Good luck for next week, buddy.
Cheers, mate.
Welcome back to DinamoTV, and this week we are speaking with the St Albans Dinamo Senior Women's Player of the Week, JANA COLINA. Congratulations, JANA.
Thank you. Thanks very much.
Now that is a great, obviously a great individual award, but let's talk about the team itself. Not the result everyone was hoping for, a 1-1 draw with Geelong Rangers. How did you see the game?
Look, yeah, we're a little bit disappointed. We were hoping to come away with the win on the weekend, but it is what it is. We move forward next week, hopefully get the win on Friday night.
Yeah. What about your own performance? Obviously, you've been chosen as the Player of the Week by the coaching staff and the management staff, but you must be pretty happy with your own individual performance on the weekend.
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, heaps of opportunity for improvement, but I think everyone as a whole did really, really well. Like I said it would have been better to get player of the week and win the game. But no, really, really good performance by everyone, I think.
Yeah. Now, before we talk about next week's performance, we're recording this immediately after the Australia Cup clash between Dinamo and East Bentleigh Strikers. A 3-1 win for Dinamo in the end. But how did you see it? Was it cold out there watching the boys play?
Freezing. We trained just before, so we only watched the second half, and yeah, very cold out there.
Jana, let's turn our attention now to this weekend coming. Big Friday night blockbuster at Churchill Reserve, the big game against Altona East Phoenix. Now, they've got, 1 win and 1 draw from their opening 2 games, just like Dinamo. Tell us a bit more about this, the opposition. Do you know much about them?
Yeah, look, we don't know much about this team. I think they're new in the league this year. Obviously, they've just come off a draw against Altona City, who seems to be a really tough side this year. So, obviously, we're going to prepare as we always do. We're going to act like it's, every other game and give it our all. So, yeah, hopefully we get the win.
Well, Jana, wishing you and the girls all the very, very best. It is Female Football Week starting this Friday, so we're wishing you all the very best and certainly do the club proud as you do week in, week out.
Thanks so much, and hope to see you all there on Friday night.
Good on you. Friday night, it's an 8 p.m. kickoff, is that right?
That's right, yes.
Okay, all roads lead to Churchill Reserve on Friday night. Once again, thanks a lot, Jana.
Thanks so much. See you later.
And there are all the details of that game against Altona East Phoenix. As we mentioned earlier, it's at Churchill Reserve this Friday night at 8 p.m. So we're certainly asking all fans to come along and be a part of this game. And with the men on Saturday, just down the road at Green Gully Reserve, this Friday night, come down to the club rooms, come down to Churchill Reserve and support the the senior female team. As we said, Female Football Week, and we did mention it in that interview there with Jana Cholina. It all kicks off tomorrow night with the senior women's team in action at Churchill Reserve, and it continues all the way through to the 12th of May. Starting this week on Sunday precisely, it's the Junior Boys NPL regular season, the home and away season, and following the 11-game grading phase, which finished about 2 weeks ago. The teams now have been drawn into their various groups, and all the Dinamo teams, all 4 of the Dinamo teams will be playing in Division 3. And as we can see right there, under 14s kicking off the game at 9:30 a.m. They are away to Geelong Soccer Club at Stead Park. The 15s will be at home at 11:30 against Werribee City. So that's at 11:30. Then at 11:60, our boys are away to George Cross, Caroline Springs George Cross. That game at City Vista Pavilion kicking off at 11:15. And then finally, the under-18s, they'll be at home at 1:15 to Bendigo City in Division 3. Now, if we look at the under-14 team, under-14 division, so the other teams in that division include Altona Magic, Murray United, so there's going to be a big, long road trip ahead of the under-14 boys, Brunswick City, Werribee City, Heidelberg United, Hume City, Ballarat City, sister club Melbourne Knights, Geelong, as we've already mentioned, Eltham Redbacks and Bendigo City as well. In Division 3 of the under-15 competition, we've got Brunswick City, Whittlesea Rangers, Hume City, Pascoe Vale, the Knights again, Ballarat City, Geelong, Caroline Springs, George Cross, Eltham Redbacks, Bendigo City and Werribee City. And if we move then on to the under-16s as well, in the Division 3 Northwest Division, we find pretty much similar teams: Brunswick City, Whittlesea Rangers, Caroline Springs, George Cross, Hume City, Pascoe Vale, Eltham Redbacks, Bendigo City, Ballarat City, Melbourne Knights, Brimbank Stallions, and the Werribee City Bees. And last but not least, we move to the under-18s, the Northwest section, Division 3. We've got Altona Magic, Ballarat City, Bendigo City, Geelong, Brunswick Juventus, Hume City, Pascoe Vale, Brimbank Stallions, Werribee City, Brunswick City, and finally Moreland City as well. And that now just leaves us with social news happening at the club. There's quite a fair few things happening. The buffet night next Thursday, the Mother's Day buffet night, well, that is officially sold out. No more tickets left. So if you did miss out on the Mother's Day buffet night, Friday the 24th of May, we've got the Pork Fest. There'll be live music. There'll be something like 10 or so pigs on the spit. So for all details or to make a booking, contact Anna on 0401 505 100. Be sure to book your tickets nice and early because the Mother's Day event, the buffet night, that sold out in record time, very, very quickly. All right, folks, we're going to take a bit of a break. When we return, it's going to be our Meet the Team segment. And this week, we get to know the girls' under-11s Kangaroos / Wallabies MiniRoos team. Let me warn you, there's some very, very big personalities in this team. You're watching DinamoTV, back after this very short commercial break.
Oh, who wants to interview? What's your name, champion?
Tiana.
What number is on your back? Let me have a look. Number 7. What position do you play?
Striker.
Oh, how many goals do you reckon you scored today?
I had
First game of the season. Good luck, girls. And what's your name?
Tiana.
Oh, Liana. Where do you play? What position do you play?
Left and right.
Oh, very good, very good. We'll do a whole go around. Your name?
Mia.
Yeah, where do you play?
Striker. Nada and I play.
Oh, very good.
Anna and I play midfielder. Tiana and I play defense. Adriana and I play midfielder. Isabella and I play midfielder. That's the
Colina and play.
Goalkeeper. Abigail and I play midfielder. Fiona and I play defense. Messi and I play defense.
Is that everybody?
Yeah!
And that's their mascot. How are we going to go today, girls? We pumped?
We're doing 10-0! We're doing 10-0!
All right, good luck for the season. Let's get a good win today. Jana has been given the captain's armband. How do you feel about that?
I feel very honoured.
And what are you going to do as captain? What are some of the things you're
I'm
going to do?
going to be the best.
Going to be the best?
As always.
What about you, Nicolina? How are you going to go in goal today? Keep a clean sheet, you reckon?
She's going to say
I made a promise to my chair talk.
Yeah, I just spoke to your brother. He reckons he's going to score a hat-trick over there for the under-13s against Ballarat City.
Better.
Better?
Oh yeah, my brother said that. $100.
We're going to win, 100%. We're versing Hill Park,
Little buck?
and we're going to beat them 10-0. There's
Oh.
no way we're going to lose. If we lose, they're going to be so disappointed. Yeah.
What about you?
Even though this is a bit more for me, but it's okay.
But you're just short for me.
Yeah, we're going to win.
Good luck, girls.
Welcome back to DinamoTV. And in our family, we've got all sorts of interesting people. And one of the most interesting people that, well, I guess one of the people that met one of the most interesting people just this weekend gone by was our very own under-23s head coach, Adam TENNENINI, who joins us right now on DinamoTV. Tuna, how are you, mate? Great to have you back on the show.
Hey, Tonchi. Good to be back, mate. Virtually this time, not a recorded interview. So, good to be back.
Exactly. Now, before we get on to, as you said to me off air, you're still pinching yourself at what happened to you last weekend. Let's just quickly touch base with regards to the 23s. Last week, not so good a result, a 1-2 loss to Dandenong Thunder. Jacob Di Fiore scored the only goal of the game. How did the boys go in that game?
Yeah, look, it was aside from the result, Tonchi, which was obviously disappointing. It was a disappointing display overall. To be honest, we just it didn't really get going at all throughout the game. We had some spurts where we got on top of them, but overall it was quite disappointing because I know what these guys, what my boys are capable of when they put their mind to it, and when they've come into games with the right attitude, we've steamrolled teams. Even if we haven't got the result, we've played a lot better than what we did on the weekend. So that was the most disappointing part for me, is that we just didn't turn up. And I get you have those games. Every team and every club has those games, but it's just disappointing when I know what their capability is, and we didn't show that at all on Saturday.
Now, a tough one coming up this weekend against Green Gully, who in the under-23s are competition leaders, and 8 wins, 2 draws, 1 loss. They're going to be a formidable opponent. Firstly, the game's at 3:30 after the seniors. Why is that the case? Have we found out the reason for that?
I have no idea. Port Melbourne do something similar with their home games. We did it a couple of times last season. I guess the positive to that is that I guess you can empty out your bench. So if the senior boys that are on the bench don't get a run in the seniors, then they can spill over to the 23s. And I know, looking at the squad list every week for Green Gully, they do that quite a bit. Usually they play on a different day to their seniors, and many of the players that sit on the senior bench that might not get game time will then come into the 23. So look, we might even do that ourselves on Saturday. We'll see, but I need to speak to Donners about that and what that looks like. But there is a bit of time between the senior game and the 23s game to be able to adapt that if required. And I'm sure Gully will be doing that, and that's probably the main reason they are doing that. I think the other reason too, Tonchi, is to preserve the ground. I mean, the ground can get chopped up in the 23s game, and then the seniors come on straight after.
Yep.
I think with Gully's ground, it's a impeccable surface as we know, but it does tend to get chopped up a little bit, and that's probably the reason why as well.
Oh, that possibly makes sense. Yeah. Still though, 1 p.m. as opposed to a 3 p.m. kickoff. That's unusual, mate. Now, apart from being under 23's head coach as well, you're Paul Donnelly's assistant coach with the seniors. So your commitment on a Saturday or on match day is effectively doubled. But I guess that provides a good opportunity for you to see also some of the younger guys that are stepping up from the 23s into the senior squad, and you're there as a mentor. How have you seen some of the transition of some of those boys, DeBono, Maury, Chabraya, etc.? How have you seen them stepping up to the demands, the rigors of senior football?
Yeah, it is quite a task at the moment, Tonchi, dividing my time or adding to my time with the 23s and helping Donners out. But, obviously I'm quite enjoying it. I guess the main positive is that I can provide Donners with that insight with the 23s boys coming through. Many of them train with the seniors full time, so Donners has seen them throughout the pre-season and into this season. I've certainly seen some progress in their development. The boys you mentioned, DeBono got a start last night. Chabraya came on, Maury came on, and Arben Gege, who's the vice captain in the 23s, made his senior debut, which was fantastic and fully deserved, because he's probably been our most consistent player in the 23s throughout this season, and had a very good season last season as well in the 21. So we're really happy with his progress, and he's a boy that I've had in my team since he was 15 years old. So I've seen him grow from, a mid-aged teen into a young man now, and I've got a lot of respect for him as a player and as a person, and I'm just really wrapped for him last night, and that was really pleasing for me. I had to think about it on the way home actually, and just thinking about our journey together. Not to reminisce too much, but he's been consistent since I've had him as a junior. He's now progressed really well through the reserves, and now getting his due reward by playing senior football, and definitely a talent and a person and a player that we want to keep at the club in the future.
Now, Tuna, before we get on to why we're talking tonight on DinamoTV, this is the first year of the under-23s as opposed to last year being the under-21s. How have you found it? Has it been a sort of a successful changeover, or have there been a few kind of teething problems?
No, I haven't seen any change at all, to be honest, Tonchi. If anything, like I said to you at the start of the season, if anything, my squad's got younger. Not older, and to be honest, we've played every team apart from Gully and South Melbourne so far, and I haven't seen a shift. Like, I haven't seen 22, 23-year-olds running around unless they've been dropped from the senior squad for various reasons, obviously coming back from injury or that not be getting game time, whatever that is. So I haven't seen specific underage players playing in that squad that are hitting the 21, 22, 23-year-old mark. And I think I said it at the very beginning of the season, it probably defeats the purpose having a 22, 23-year-old in the squad that's never likely to play seniors. What's the point? If you've got a player that age, then as terrible as it sounds, you probably need to move them on. It's NPL. It's not a Sunday league. It's a semi-professional league. So we should be blooding as many of our young talent through as possible, and giving them that opportunity to see if they're capable of stepping up in the future. So, I've got no qualms about playing 16, 17, 18-year-olds and seeing where they're at. And I think a lot of coaches in this league would be of the same view. We're not about giving players a run just for the sake of it. We're about blooding the youth and seeing who's capable of stepping up.
That's what it's all about, absolutely. Now, mate, last weekend, actually, you had basically a dream come true moment, I guess. You're a lifelong Roma fan in the Serie A competition, and I guess one of your idols and the idols of many, many Roma supporters around the world came to Melbourne. Francesco Totti, a legend, and whether you follow Serie A or not, whether you love Roma or not, the fact that he's played 600 plus games for the one club in his career, you got to take your hat off to the man. But what was it like meeting him in person?
Oh, mate, it was look, I'm still pinching myself a little bit. It was quite surreal. So he was here for a week or so between Sydney and Melbourne. He was brought out here by a gentleman by the name of Maurice Pagnello. He's head of the Racing City Group, partnered by a couple of other guys, and just brought out to do some appearances. I joked with Francesco during before and after our session that he was on a Melbourne Sydney restaurant tour because he was appearing everywhere, and there was a few lunches and dinners that were organised for guests. A good mate of mine, Marco Serapiglia, who's I met through football about 20 years ago. Was one of the people that was partnered with the Racing City Group to organise a lunch at Rochella restaurant in East Melbourne. So it was an intimate Italian lunch of 80 people, Tonchi. That's as intimate as Italian lunches get. But it was a great day. I mean, Sunday afternoon, the sun was out. Everyone was buzzing to see him. Quite an intimate setting, and it was really well done the way it was done. So hats off to the organisers. But Marco, my friend, asked me. He's a Roma fan as well, and he asked me, "Would you be interested in doing a 20-minute Q&A with Totti?" And I was like, "Would I?" So yeah, I met him once before. He was here. They were here in 2015 for the ICC Cup. They played Real Madrid and Manchester City back then. I actually cut my honeymoon short to make sure I was back in time for that, which my wife always reminds me of. But yeah, so I met him briefly back then. But this time was obviously quite different. I got to interview him. He doesn't speak much English, so it was I was asking him questions in Italian and then translating back to the audience because some of the audience obviously didn't speak Italian. Translating
your
back to them in English.
Fluent, yeah.
Sorry.
Your Italian's very fluent, is it?
Yeah. I was blessed that I grew up with my grandparents, mate. So I probably spoke Italian before I spoke English. So no issue with the language. And my family's from Rome, so I speak a bit of the Roman dialect as well, which. I got caught doing that during the session, but we just bounced off each other, him and I. So, it was quite an experience. And it's still pinching myself. I've watched the video back. I had Lou Sticker of all people recording it for me on my phone. 25 minutes, which I then uploaded to YouTube. I've watched it back a couple of times, and it was fantastic. I think what I enjoyed most because he gets asked. Well, he's been interviewed a million times, so he gets asked, the same questions over and over. And a couple of the questions got asked by the audience, I actually knew what he was going to answer. I already had my English translation ready. But he has to be, I guess, when you're someone that famous and that big, I guess a lot of things can get lost, loosely translated. And, with celebrities, they get blowback from it. So he's very measured in some of his responses. But it wasn't until I got to speak to him, a little bit more candidly throughout the day that I got a full appreciation for him. And he's not just an idol; he's the idol. Like he made his debut when he was 16, and I was 14 back then. And like much of my life has been spent watching him play, and he was the player, and he had such longevity in his career that. I remember when he retired, the tears. Like I can remember the tears on the couch, and it was like someone had passed. Because that's all we used to. We used to getting up every weekend and watching him play. So it was hard for me to express to him how much he meant to me and Roma fans. But he already knows, so I didn't need to go into that detail. It was already obvious. So it was just nice to do. He asked me about my kids and. What I do and who I'm coaching and my journey in football and stuff like that. Like so at the end, it felt like I was just talking to a mate. So it was fantastic, Tonchi. I'll remember it forever.
Oh, fantastic! With your own coaching career, with your own kind of direction, I guess, with regards to football, has it given you kind of a little bit of impetus, a bit of tonic to sort of now take it maybe a bit more seriously or take it a little bit in a different direction? Or has it done anything like in that regards?
I think I take my coaching seriously. I think we're...
No, I mean, like, does it give you sort of like a desire now to just... You kind of the firecracker up the backside, so to speak, to just go that one level extra type of thing?
Yeah, I guess in a sense it did. I mean, it certainly opened my eyes to different things you can do in football. Because he himself says he will never be a coach. He reckons he's not cut out for it. But he's a player agent at the moment. Got his hand in a few different things in football. Will he ever return to Roma as a director or whatever? Remains to be seen. But we talked through what it looks like to be an agent, have an agency, and things that we could probably do from Australia to help that, align to his agency. I spoke to him about that. So who knows, down the track, that might be an option, or might be biting off more than I could chew in that respect, because I don't know if we spoke about it, but I don't know if he's looking to actually invest in Australia, but remains to be seen. I'll always put my hand up if he wants me, but but in terms of football, I explained to him who I coach and the alignment and why we're called Dinamo, and obviously he knows who Dinamo Zagreb are. So that alignment, we spoke about the communities. We already knew that there's a big Italian community. I explained to him about how big the Croatian community is as well in Melbourne, and and the European community as a whole. But in terms of coaching, I mean, take it seriously every day, and what we do at NPL level is serious, and it takes up a lot of our time. So looking beyond that at the moment, no, I haven't. Is the answer, but who knows? Who knows one day?
Yeah, well, definitely. We are nowhere near, what's the word? Not paid enough for the amount of time we put into it. Certainly it's a labour of love. Yeah. Mate, thank you so much for joining us on DinamoTV. A little bit of a different conversation piece or a different conversation topic to talk about. But, keep pinching yourself, mate, because that was just an incredible moment for you. And I'm really, really happy for you. And I think everyone here at the Dinamo community is very happy for you.
Thank you, mate. Appreciate it. Keep up the good work, Tonchi, and I'll speak to you next week.
You will, that indeed. Good on you. Thanks, mate.
Westar Prestige is a family-owned second-generation business which is celebrating 50 years of operations this year. They're a specialist prestige collision repair facility situated in the western suburbs of Melbourne, Victoria. However, they service all regions in the state, with many of their clients travelling from far and wide to use their services. They're also able to provide a digital platform for quoting clients' vehicles who are unable to personally attend their premises. They're an authorised manufacturer-approved repair facilities for Mercedes-Benz, Tesla, Peugeot and Suzuki, and are proud of their ongoing affiliation with these brands. They also work closely with a number of Australia's largest insurance brands who entrust them to be part of their preferred repairer network. Their support staff are always happy to assist clients from the initial process of lodging claims through to the final stages of collection of the vehicle on completion of repairs and post-repair. So remember, for all your prestige collision repair needs, consider Westar Prestige, an award-winning, long-standing Australian-owned business.
Well, folks, that brings us to the end of this week's episode of DinamoTV. Do make sure you get out to one of the games. There's lots of Dinamo teams that are going to be in action this weekend. And be sure to go out and support the Modri, the Plavi, the Blues. Next week, yes, we've got some huge news. We're working on securing a big-name, high-profile guest. And we've been speaking to the CEO, the new CEO of Football Victoria, Chris Palavanos, who's given us a firm undertaking that he will come on the show next week. And we'll talk about Dinamo's Level 2 Game Changer accreditation, making us one of the very few clubs in Australia who have got to that level. So we hope to have Chris on the show next week. Probably one of the first interviews he's done with a club podcast since taking over as the new CEO of Football Victoria. That's on next Thursday night, and there's going to be plenty of action, a recap from the weekend just gone by, some more guests as well, and hopefully we also will have a bit of an update with regards to the Australian-Croatian soccer tournament and whether that's going to be held on the proposed date or whether that date is going to be changed. Well, we'll know more about that come next week. Until then, good night and thank you for being a part of DinamoTV. Remember, mi smo Dinamo. Good night.